Good morning and welcome to our online audience for the Montana Dietetic Internship and Graduate Program Open House. My name is Lindsay Ganong and I'm the director of the program. We're so excited to be hiring an assistant director very soon to round out our team. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. Today, we're going to talk about our two program pathways, the Dietetic Systems Leadership Masters of Science and the Dietetic Internship with the Sustainable Food Systems focus. Some pictures on the left are from our orientation and professional development weeks this year, where we visited Deep Creek Farm. We did some classroom professional development, and on the bottom is another picture at Deep Creek. So our goal at the program is to develop emerging professionals. You're on a professional trajectory from the minute you start the program, and you're ready to be an entry-level dietetics professional when you're done. We develop competent learners, and we do that through allowing you to develop your passions. And we develop a lot of systems thinking, which prepares you to be leaders in food nutrition. And by the time you're done with the program, we hope that you're progressive and critical thinkers. Our goal is to really give you opportunities to develop an internal sense of confidence and a systems lens where you can look at things from a different perspective. And, we have a lot of problems in food nutrition and healthcare that need sort of unique and different lenses. And we really hope that you have developed that when you leave the program. So our model is called Dietetic Systems Leadership. So that's both the endpoint of the degree and the mission, so that future RDNs lead sustainable health solutions for people on the planet. And we do that through systems thinking, collective care, dietetics competency, and personal empowerment. Systems thinking is the ability to recognize and understand relationships, to analyze complex systems, to think of how systems are embedded within different domains and different scales, and to deal with uncertainty. We know that especially dealing with uncertainty is a really important skill for dietitians to be able to handle risk and work within dynamic systems. So the knowledge foundations we prepare you with are place-based food and water system study, a study of sustainable diets and planetary health. And the competencies that you'll develop are skills to demonstrate strategic innovation, collaboration, because we know that within a silo, we can't do systems thinking and systems change, critical thinking, self-awareness, and integrative problem solving. Dietetics competency are these 50 competencies for the RDN that you will develop in supervised practice. So in the second year of the master's program and throughout the whole dietetic internship, you're doing a little over 1,000 hours of supervised practice. And that's hands-on learning in community, clinical food service management settings. And those will also prepare you for the RDN exam. And we develop competency in this program not only in nutrition care for individuals, but across policy, systems, and environment with that systems thinking lens. Personal empowerment increases students' self-efficacy, the belief that they can do things, and personal growth. And we do that through professional development, research, and using a growth mindset. Some activities that you'll perform are doing a personality assessment and learning how your personality works with others. And it's a ton of communications development. You'll work on a professional project, and you have freedom of inquiry. We really encourage you to discover and develop your passions and nurture whole person, self, and professional development. Finally, collective care is our fourth pillar, which is shared responsibility for each community's members' well-being. And so we hope that you have a capacity to address systemic issues and create supportive environments. And the learning activities that help to develop these skills are Indian education for all, caring for Indigenous Montanans, weight-inclusive care and counseling, LGBTQ+ nutrition care, and working on interdisciplinary team care. So I already mentioned two of our values that are supporting our pillars. Our third is that we are transdisciplinary. So we practice and cultivate transdisciplinary inquiry and systems thinking, and finally act with integrity and work towards a more just, inclusive, and livable future. This is a student out at our campus farm. So we have two programs, a 2-year program, which is a Dietetic Systems Leadership Master's, and the final year is the Dietetic Internship or Supervised Practice. So we are accepting applications now for a fall 2026 start. This slide is wrong. It's 2026 through May of 2028 for the 2-year program. And in that final year of supervised practice, students are assigned to one of 6 areas in Montana or Sheridan, Wyoming. For folks who are already coming in with a master's degree, we also offer dietetic internship only, and we are accepting for fall 26 or fall 27 start for DI only. And the internship focus areas are Indigenous and rural health, community food access, weight inclusive care, or sustainable food systems. So our supervised practice locations are Kalispell, Missoula Butte, Helena, Great Falls, Billings, and Sheridan, Wyoming. So students will come to Bozeman at the beginning of the supervised practice year, that second year of MS, or at the beginning of the dietetic internship only. But Bozeman can't support comprehensive clinical rotations. So students will then move to one of these other 6 areas. Supervised practice is 36 weeks or 1,050 hours. So our program logistics, for those in the Master of Science program, they would start with a 3-day orientation in person in Bozeman or the Bozeman area this coming fall. Then there's online coursework for fall, spring, and an optional summer, depending on the courses you select. So the idea is that you can remain in a home community or wherever you'd like for that first year. You just need reliable Wi-Fi. You would have synchronous classes where you're meeting in person, not in person, but at the same time online with an instructor, and some asynchronous courses where there's course assignments, group work, papers every week, but there's no synchronous meeting. And then in the second year, fall of August 2027, you would travel to Bozeman for orientation, professional development, and sustainable food systems foundations for 5 to 11 weeks. And then you would go to your major placement location in Kalispell, Missoula Butte, Great Falls, Helena, or Billings, or Sheridan, Wyoming. And so sometimes our program is listed as a distance internship, but we plan and coordinate all rotations for you. It's distance in the sense that I'll be in Bozeman with the leadership team, and you'll be in these other locations throughout the state. This is a picture of one of our dietetic interns coaching a WWAMI medical student at our culinary medicine course. This is one of our interdisciplinary care team developments. And then this is our current intern who used to show chickens at 4-H, holding a chicken at a permaculture demonstration farm that we visit. So the first year of coursework has 4 required courses: research methods, both 1 in the fall and level 2 in the spring. And in the fall, you would develop a literature review. In the spring, you would be working on methodology and your IRB proposal, your protocol, getting institutional review board passed. And then in the fall, there's also critical thinking, research, and evidence-informed practice. And this is a synchronous online course where you really investigate weight science and whether weight loss is an effective treatment for several disease states or things like sports nutrition or other kind of conditions that we might be providing nutrition care for. And then advanced medical nutrition therapy is offered in the spring. So these 12 credits are required. And then there are 6 electives that I'll talk about on the next slide. So you would begin as a cohort coming through with everyone. You would all take these 4 classes. There are 18 credits in the first year, 18 credits in the second year. We estimate that this online coursework takes 20 to 30 hours. So we find that students are not working more than 30 hours per week often because the coursework is demanding. It includes collaborative group projects, discussion boards, synchronous classes, and the program of study or what you're agreeing to in this degree is the coursework plus the supervised practice and a professional project. So this is not a thesis-based or a research-based master's per se. That supervised practice is making up a major portion of this degree, which makes it a professional master's program rather than a thesis-based master's program. So the electives available to you are a policy elective that is either offered in summer or spring, and then another elective. So you could choose two from this policy um, rubric, or you could choose one from policy and one from these others. So you'll see that our coursework is diverse and can really help you to develop and follow your passions. So you could look at sustainable diets here in State of the Environment Policy, Measure, and Practice and US Food Policy. You could look at how to develop a nutrition program and evaluate it and align it with sustainable development goals, state goals, county goals, or family law and public policy. How does public policy affect families? And you, in this class, you're really trained to look at different perspectives. And these classes really take something that can be kind of a scary or intimidating topic like policy and show you that advocacy is not the only way to interact with policy and really give you some confidence and competence in this area. Then we offer advanced food systems management, nutrition education and counseling, global food perspectives, which is a sustainable food systems course that students really love. Food innovation and entrepreneurship with the food product development lab on campus that really helps to work with farmers that are developing crops that are good for the environment and make healthy products from them. There's an extruder in that lab where you can make things like lentil puffs, like a lentil Cheeto, for example. Native food systems, we have a strong Indigenous presence here in Montana, and it's a really beautiful opportunity to learn about Indigenous food systems, healthcare informatics, as well as program planning and evaluation, outcomes and quality improvement for more of that clinical management side of things. In year 2 of the Masters of Science Dietetic Internship, as well as the whole Dietetic Internship Graduate Certificate Program, is supervised practice. So students come to Bozeman, and this Food Systems Leadership for Nutrition Professionals course is in person. We're on campus on the farm. I'm going to tell you all about it in the coming slides. And then those 1,050 hours of supervised practice and clinical community and food service management sites are at those 6 locations around Montana. So interns would move just twice, coming to Bozeman and then their major clinical site. And those are those internship credits. We also have weekly class from 1 to 4 every Wednesday where we do check-ins with everyone around the state. We learn more about our sustainable food systems and we work on professional projects. For MS onlys, you also have professional project credits. So DI onlys, you take 12 credits, the ones in white, and MS, you take an additional 6 credits in professional project for 18 credits in that second year. So in year 2, you come to Bozeman for orientation, professional development, and sustainable food systems foundations. Then you go on to your major placements and complete supervised practice. And then finally, in the last week, interns, it's totally hybrid. So you can either remain where you are or come back to Bozeman and walk for graduation. We do RDN exam prep. We do a simulated exam and really get you ready for credentialing as well. So we also offer 2 weeks of self-selected rotations right at the end of like the last 2 weeks in April, right before that graduation week. So that gives you a chance to really focus on an area that you want some more experience, maybe something where you're trying to cultivate a job opportunity or just something that you haven't had a chance to try yet. These are two students who got to pick these Saturnine or like donut peaches at Deep Creek Farm where we were visiting this fall. Okay, this is a little bit closer look at what the Sustainable Food Systems Foundation and Professional Development Weeks look like. So they are in Bozeman where that red star is here. And students come, like this year it was August 11th, and we spent 3 weeks all together through the end of August doing True Colors personality. We looked at trauma-informed nutrition care introduction. We did caring for Indigenous Montanans, LGBTQ plus allied health training. We looked at Indian education for all. We did a 2-day clinical workshop where you practice blood glucose monitoring, bedside tube feeding placement on a mannequin, manual blood pressures, as well as do a patient simulation, nutrition assessment and intervention with preceptors and actors, and you get some feedback. We did a full day of food systems tours in the Livingston area, which is just over the pass in the Paradise Valley. We have a ton of fun. It's super busy, and it's a great experience of team building where you really learn to rely on your colleagues and just really getting to know each other. About half the days during professional development and Sustainable Foods Foundation are also food system tours. So we try not to spend the whole day in the classroom, and you have an opportunity to go to the local recycling business, composting. We go to a permaculture demonstration farm. We often visit a food processor. The Montana Beef Council takes us on a full day ranch tour. We usually see a processor. This year we saw an auction house for beef and really get to know that industry. We also have toured Montana gluten-free breweries in the area to really see how our local products being transformed into food products. So that's just a few of the things we're doing. We saw a local bison ranch this year, and we ended our rotation or our all together orientation weeks, these 3 weeks, with a relational foraging workshop. We went up to the Highlight Recreation area, and a Blackfeet and Irish leader brought us through a little bit of ceremony to get familiar with the land. We learned about nettle, how it was used to make clothing. We picked some yampa, which is a Blackfeet name for a prairie turnip, which is a food for warriors. We picked those and planted some seeds, doing some like living landscape planting with these foodscapes that have been tended by Indigenous peoples for thousands of years. And then we ended it off with like a local food kind of feast. We had organic grass-fed beef tacos because I couldn't get my hands on any bison. And it was all made with like pre-colonial foods where we had corn tortillas, some salads and foods from the campus farm. It was really beautiful. So we spent a lot of time together in those first 3 weeks, and it's something that we think makes the program unique and really helps to give you a lot of tools to succeed in supervised practice. Then half the group, so all 19 students were together here for the first 3 weeks. And then 10 students for weeks 4 and 5 were in Sustainable Food Systems Applied weeks, and where I was the preceptor, while the other 9 were in other rotations, 2-week rotations where they might have been doing telehealth counseling or with our local extension office. They went to local critical access hospitals, maybe the food bank. They were just in other 2-week rotations, working with our Montana Team Nutrition. And then they flip-flopped where after the 2-week of food systems applied, those 10 went out into other rotations, and the 9 who were in other rotations came together and did food systems applied. So that's where you get this you might be in Bozeman for minimum 5 weeks, it might be 7 weeks, or if you have housing here or other rotations that really can only be fulfilled in the Bozeman area, we have students staying in this area till Thanksgiving before they go to their major rotation site. In January, before the internship for master's students, or right when you're selected for DI onlys, we give you a ranking survey where you can really tell us what are your priorities, what are the things you're most interested in, and we build everyone's individual track based on that. So we accept 2 to Kalispell, 5 to Missoula, up to 3 in Great Falls, 1 in Helena, 2 in Butte, and up to like 9 in Billings and 2 in Sheridan, Wyoming. So we can build your rotations based on the rotations available in those sites. No, you cannot live in Bozeman and commute to any of these places. So Billings is like almost a 2-hour drive. Great Falls is 3, Missoula is 3. And this is a photo of the Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park, which is gorgeous. And this is a look at it in the summer, and this is in the winter. So be definitely prepared for winter driving conditions. It's a reality out here in Montana. So once you're in supervised practice, there are 2 weeks of sustainable food systems foundation weeks during orientation, 2 weeks of that applied right after the orientation weeks, and then you can have anywhere from 9 up to even like 21 weeks of clinical nutrition. So that would be in your comprehensive care facility, mostly doing inpatient. It could also be in a smaller hospital. It could be in long-term care. You could be in outpatient dialysis or endocrine rotations in renal dialysis. You might also be placed in our local VA hospital or Indian Health Services, all depending on your preferences. Community nutrition is 6 to 12 weeks typically. You might be at a food bank, at one of our local food systems development organizations, at Farm to School, at the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children. And then everyone does at least 4 weeks of food service management, 2 in the major hospital rotation where you are, and then at least 2 more either at university food service management, but oftentimes 3 at university, or 2 more weeks in K-12. And then you have those self-selected and graduation. So it ends up 36 weeks, 1,050 hours. So the orientation and professional development weeks, we have a photo here of manual blood pressures, um, students working on the culinary medicine, food and culinary literacy, and then also students out at the campus farm. So here's the flow of the Sustainable Food Systems Foundation weeks. Once you're in that 2-week rotation, after we've been together all 3 weeks, and you're just with half the class. So the applied weeks include systems thinking, the dietitian's role in sustainable, resilient, and healthy food and water systems, working at our campus farm, local food marketing, so either participating in the community-supported agriculture distribution or the campus farm stand marketing, a whole day of food preservation, including hot water bath canning, pressure canning, dehydration. We do some fermentation or sourdough as well. Interprofessional food as medicine lesson. There's also lunch and learns and policy briefs, which I'll tell you a little bit more about. During foundations, we've also visited the only nonprofit, federally inspected meat processing facility in the state. This is a group a few years ago, and that processing facility is just over the pass in Livingston. It's a really cool operation. Here are some more photos of tours that we went on this year to the Farm to School of Park County's farms, and some pictures of marketing at the CSA, cooking for the culinary medicine piece, and also some food preservation. So food as medicine, let's dig into this part a little bit more. We have medical students who complete their first 2 years of training here in Bozeman. They're part of the University of Washington system. And we recognize that they need to be advocates for planetary health and nutrition as the leader of the medical team. So we do experiential workshops where the dietetic interns are teaching a didactic portion and leading cooking as well. So this is the end of the cooking session over here for the food and culinary literacy session we did this fall, where all the food's laid out. Students are talking about what if that food is local to Montana, how did they prepare it, and then we all share a meal together. We also have a big kickoff farm tour out at the student farm. So we are teaching and demonstrating culinary skills. There's nutrition education, making sure doctors understand who are the dietitians and what they should be referring to us. So it's all interprofessional. It's all experiential. We also offer hot topic lunch and learns, which are so much fun. So students are spending 3 to 4 hours in the morning, about 4 days a week during that 2 week rotation. So like 12 to 15 hours a week at the campus farm. They're bringing delicious food back, and we're doing lunch and learns together. And so these are some of the lunch and learn topics that students covered this year. Land to Lunch, revitalizing traditional indigenous foods and school meals, sustainability and the dietary guidelines for Americans, nutrition and health communications, disseminating key health information in the age of fake news. This one really focused on a policy about local journalism that was so cool. And beyond the wrapper, food packaging and plastics, a systems lens. So as you can see, we take a systems lens, and all of these also related to the policy brief assignment. So that's when students identify a food system policy driver. They research and analyze the policy recommendations, the feasibility, co-benefits, and trade-offs on our sustainability model, and the stakeholder perspectives, taking on perspectives of folks in different parts of the food and political system, so that we really understand what would it take to pass something, who would be for it and against it, and really understanding those perspectives, and then making recommendations for policymakers in the form of a policy brief. Then there's also a reflection piece where RDN, we can try to understand dietitians' role in policy. Yes, that's advocacy in some cases. It might also be for a think tank or a policy analyst or implementing a program. The roles are really quite vast, and we give students a chance to explore those. Here are some awesome photos. Some of our interns for their professional project went with the Food Product Development Lab to Senegal last year, and they worked with women smallholder farmers on creating a food product development space there. Uh, it, they went last December, and they just really had a wonderful time. These are interns at a game off hours together. Here's up at Highlight Reservoir for our celebratory meal, planting out at Town's Harvest Garden, team building in that first year, that 3-day orientation in Bozeman in the first year of the master's. And then this is doing a hike. I don't think this was part of school sponsored either. I think they did this one on their own and shared the photo with us. So if you're interested, let's talk about application logistics. So we do offer early selection for Montana State University graduates, and that selection's in fall. It's going to be October 12th this year, and everyone will be interviewed. You'll get notified by the 17th, and then there'll be $1,000 deposit to hold your spot. We do have an accelerated program too, and this open house is totally applicable to you, but those application dates and process will be internal to us. So work with your DPD director, Jesse Peterson, or reach out to me if you have questions about our accelerated program. The national selection, we do fall and spring selection. So deadlines October 19th. We do Zoom interviews. We will notify you all October 31st or February 27th. And then you have until the Ascend designated dates of November 15th in the fall, March 15th in the spring to make your decision. And then we ask for a $1,000 deposit 1 week later. So for our master's program, you need a bachelor's degree, a didactic program and dietetics verification statement from an accredited dietetics program. And we are, and our accreditation type, excuse me, is dietetic internship. So we cannot accept any applicants who have not completed that that didactic program in dietetics with the verification statement. We ask for a $57 application fee, and our graduate school has really moved away from requiring or the GRE. We don't really consider GRE scores unless, if you have quite a low GPA and wanted to show that you have some more of that academic rigor, you maybe could consider those, but we don't really recommend it. And we ask for 3 references. All applications for our programs go through the DICUS system, the Common Application System for Dietetic Internships. And we ask that those references not be personal, but rather be professional or academic. Don't apply to the MSU graduate school until after you've been officially accepted into our program. So we will walk you through the graduate school application process if you are accepted. For dietetic internship only, the graduate certificate program, that's for folks who already have a master's degree. And we accept masters of science, masters in public health of quite a variety of degree types. And then we do again require that DPD verification statement, application fee. We do not require the GRE and the same references. Your personal statement is really important. So it's 1,000 words and we ask for it to be in a narrative style. And what that means is we have these prompts, but we would not like you to answer these prompts as a Q&A. We'd like you to draft sort of a letter to the program. I'll be reading it. We have committee members that'll read it, and we want to know who you are and why this program specifically is a good fit. So why do you want to be a dietitian? How would a sustainable food systems background benefit you as a dietetics professional? Which characteristics, attributes, and experiences have prepared you for the MSDI or the DI only? How will our program specifically support you in becoming the dietitian that you want to be? Consider the uniqueness of our program, the logistics, the type of rotations we offer, what it means to be in rural healthcare, and working collaboratively with our Indigenous communities. Why is what we're offering what you would like? Because when we see those 2 things match up, that's really when we get the best results. So also describe how you'll be successful living and working in rural communities and your experience or philosophy in providing inclusive and compassionate care. If needed, you can address any weaknesses you see in your application. And honestly, this should be some of the best writing that you've ever done. So take your time and get a lot of feedback. When it's really AI driven, we can tell, and we would love for this to be in your voice. AI can be a great tool, those large language models, maybe to do some editing or as a thought partner, but really try to make it in your own voice. So our review process is that the MDI directors will score each application, and then we get input from at least 2 other committee members. The scores are based on scholastic achievement, so GPA, any honors, any research experiences you've had, work and volunteer experience, professional references, and then 40% of your application is that personal statement. And here are those interview dates for national applicants. We also have some DI only slots for this coming fall. We have availability in Billings, Missoula, Butte, and Sheridan. We're also accepting applications for the 27-28 DI or the 26-28 MSDI right now. Admissions. So you can see that we've gone from 18 up to 24, 26, 25. Last year we had 24, and this year we have 19 dietetic interns. So used to be that we would get a lot of applicants and only some matched, and that's kind of gone down, COVID years up, and then we're seeing a dip again with that master's requirement. But something important to acknowledge here is that those that are not selected, those were also folks that did not select our program. So last year, we had 32 applicants, and I think we need to update one more year on this, but it's competitive. We with our early select, that fills about a third to a half of our class, but we are accredited for 26. So we have plenty of spots for national applicants as well. And we're just so excited that you're excited about this program. So please consider applying. Program costs, there's a little bit of difference for resident and non-resident, but we do have graduate online tuition, which is much more affordable than in person. So we're feeling really good about the price that we're able to offer this program for. So this is the price for the 2-year Master of Science and Dietetic internship. And this is the program cost for the non-degree graduate certificate for the DI only. A little bit cheaper because you're only taking 12 credits rather than 36. So we know that graduate school is expensive. There is financial aid. So both of our programs are eligible for financial aid, and you can contact our financial aid office to learn more about that. We also have scholarships. So there's been first year awards with fellowships from our graduate school in the past. And then when students are accepted, we connect you immediately with our scholarship application, which is generalized, and will match you automatically with any scholarship fund that you're eligible for. So you'll qualify for scholarships from our college and university. And then in the second year, depending on the year and how the markets are doing, we have about $20,000 available just for our DI onlys and our second year master's students. So depending on the number of students that apply, those awards are anywhere from $750 to $3,000 and can really help with expenses. And we every year we get some who get the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics scholarships as well. So with that, I'm going to sign off for today. I'm so grateful for your attention. Please reach out to me anytime by email. I'd be very happy to answer any questions. Have a wonderful day.